day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and we are reacting to the RWBY Volume 9 soundtrack. We are listening to Guide My Way, Red Like Roses Part 3. Now, I think this is like the most anticipated song, at least for me. This is the one where I'm like, ooh, like I want to hear this one the most because it slapped in the show, like the part that we did here. But like this is the full version of the song. Red Like Roses Part 3, people have been manifesting this for a really long time. And so I'm really excited. My expectations are high. Just that's all I'll say. My expectations are high for this one, so why don't we get into it? We're gonna do the same thing that we've been doing, right?
Yeah. Red Like Roses Volume 3. When did we get Red Like Roses? That was like Volume 2.
It was Volume 1. It was still Volume 1, I think. It was on the same...
No, When It Falls was like Red Like Roses.
Hold on. There was Red Like Roses regular, and then there was with Casey's mom singing on the soundtrack.
Okay.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Maybe it's Red Like Roses. Maybe it's...
that was the opening, but that was the opening for Volume 3, but that was not a Red Like Roses reprise. That just to use the lyric.
Okay.
That was,
Whoopsie daisies.
I know
it was when it falls.
Yeah, it was When It Falls, yeah.
But I didn't know if it was When It Falls, parentheses.
No. Red Like Roses Part 2 was with Casey and Casey's mom both singing.
And Casey's mom has got it going on.
And then
she's all
Red Like Roses 1 was in the trailers. So, and that's that on that.
Casey has been doing a great job. But I mean, Casey, can't you see you're just not the girl for me?
Oh dear. I like this. Like, is it summer who? You know?
That is what aimless means.
I like that, like, touch the sky, now you're Icarus, you're flying too close to the sun vibes. Yeah, I feel like that's to summer and then also to the blacksmith.
I like the drums.
I like that sound effect right there. Whatever that is. Violin? String?
Plucking.
Question mark? See? This is where it gets...
It's a good one. So this would have been when, like, RWBY bursts out and kicks people's ass. Okay.
It's just so good. It just makes me happy.
I expect her to just go with the rest of it.
See, the oohs in this song makes sense because the emotion is so strong that she's oohing, right?
But I could use some ho-hees, I'm just saying. You could strangle me if I talked about those ho-hees.
That's such a cool effect. I like that.
This almost feels like Summer talking to RWBY.
Yeah. Can you hear me up there and fly? Summer is in hell. Because up there, not down there.
It's like she talks about being untethered and floating in the cold air.
But like,
so I know what I mean. You put in the
Summer is on the ground.
And the context, Summer may be in the bad place, but in the context of the song.
I know, I was just...
How dare you say my precious mother.
But this is RWBY talking.
I know. I really love the instrumentation. Yeah. Because it feels like that kind of typical classic RWBY, but in an untasteful way, I'm not quite sure, feels different from the rest of it.
That's what Trapdoor needed, anyway.
Maybe it's just the guitars don't feel as prominent. It doesn't feel like... So maybe that's why it feels different? I don't know, but I do like it.
I think it's also how the lyrics are flowing. I like that. That plucking is really, I love that.
This feels more electronic all of a sudden with that beat. But this song is going weird places.
I know, I like how it's...
This kind of feels like Trapdoor, and that Trapdoor also had a lot of different, but this feels more
I Want
like
Inspired the Fairy Tale is such a good fucking lyric. I think that this song is the most lyrically impressive, just based on the first listen.
I also think that
Prevails in Fairy Tale, that's in a good fucking rhyme.
Like, it goes different place. Ooh,
shit.
Yeah, it goes a lot of different places, but it fleshes it out a lot more than Trapdoor did.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is really solid.
See, this I would listen to if I always, like, need motivation.
Yeah, this is like the typical, like...
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta have your little...
Go back to Jasper in there.
You gotta have your... Your guitar tapping.
Yeah, I never noticed, I'll talk about it later, but I never really noticed how a lot of the time songs have like one very prominent instrument, just because in musicals it's a bit more like split up.
This exercise has been Cal listens to new music for the first time.
Yeah, I guess so, but like the guitar is just so prominent, it's almost surprising, like for me. Not surprising for Ruby though. But yeah, I think that this is, I would almost say it's the best one, but...
Yeah, this is definitely up there for me. This is very solid.
That string was nice. Why can't we have more strings in RWBY songs? I just love, I don't know, I'm just like, I love a good violin, but anyway. So let's listen from the beginning. So that's about summer, right?
Yes.
And that's about like, oh, summer having secrets.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting because it's almost like, again, she's flown too close to the sun, but then it's also like not grounded. Like there's no grounded, like there's nothing to ground RWBY to reality. I don't know, that sounds kind of weird, but.
That makes sense.
Because when you think about bad things happening to you, you think of rock bottom. You don't think of
going too
high, unless
although bad
you
things have happened to me when I've gotten too high, but that's a story for another time.
Invoking Icarus flying too close to the sun, right? Which is what this kind of reminds me of, and then Touch the Sky, how, like, oh God, I look in the mirror and I gotta say it's been a long, long time since I felt this way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all about, like, feeling so powerful and renewed confidence, especially for Crow. I think we decided that Touch the Sky was kind of a Crow song, that he's not depressed. Like, you know what I mean? During Volume 7, he actually feels like things are better for him, and, like, obviously it's about Team RWBY too, but, yeah, so that's interesting that she's, like, floating away, like Winnie the Pooh, that Winnie the Pooh gif.
Yeah.
And she's just out of body floating away. It could also be, too, that they decided to use float, because, like, RWBY can burst in a rose petal, so it's almost like, not to get, like, weirdly complicated, but, like, she's not even, like, a person anymore. She's just, like, floating in the wind. Like, if RWBY is
like a balloon.
Like, if RWBY is I don't think she can stay that way. But, there was this thing that I can't even remember. I don't think it was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
but, like,
God.
if a character loses matter and they're split between all the points of matter, like, you know what I mean? And so I think that, like...
Are you getting into theoretical physics?
I know, but it's interesting, like, this idea that, like, RWBY's broken apart by the rose petals and just, like, flowing in the wind and, like, could stay that way and not be a person. Like, you know what I mean? Just be, like... an object, I don't know.
Scattered
like,
to the wind.
Scattered, yeah, that's what I
thus
mean. That's
kindly
what
I scatter.
Yeah, scattered to the wind.
A little Summer
with her
Rose
semblance,
reference.
that's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, man. Well, that was the.
But
well,
you know what I
Penny
mean?
did
She
talk about it,
deconstructs herself. She's not a person. She doesn't feel anymore. She's just rose petals scattering aimlessly in the wind. So that's what I feel like the lyric is about. Yeah, this goes hard, obviously.
Yeah, that was exciting. Although I realized that when you just hear the red like roses, I need like the whole lyric.
Closure.
Fills my dreams.
But I think that's the point. It leads me to the place you rest, but you're not, like, are you actually resting there?
I guess
right?
not anymore.
Like, what if you're a Grimm and you're the Hound and, like, all of that stuff, right? So there's, like, that element, too. That, like, Summer's not in her resting place. This was a cool effect. Good job,
I know.
Flynn.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so I feel like this is Summer talking to Ruby.
Yeah.
Because it's like baby's first. I don't know.
Pep talk.
Like, no, not that. Like when like a baby opens its eyes coming into the world for the first time.
Oh,
like that's what I mean. But yeah, can you hear me up there? I understand it's because she's floating away.
It's not
kind
because
of funny.
It's not because she's in hell.
I'm just saying.
She did unspeakable things to Raven and was thus sent. Raven's scratch game killed Summer.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I understand dust as like when the dust has settled, but also dust means a very particular thing in RWBY. So in my head, I'm like, when there's no more dust.
This is confusing.
But obviously,
because
must not be the case.
I wonder if this is RWBY. Is she asking about Summer? Like, I don't know. Okay, there's some weird things going on. Called a friend sounds like it's a reference to Penny.
Sure.
Like, you called me friend. Like, that, and like, that invokes, and friend as a song on the Volume 8 soundtrack.
Yes.
That invokes a certain thing. The dust being gone, like, I don't think they've ever used dust in a song like that. I would have to look. There's so many RWBY songs. There's like 90 RWBY songs. Please forgive me that I don't have an encyclopedic RWBY song knowledge. But like, Till the End is another lyric reference in that song. I think it's about, like, it's when Oscar's falling. It's like, yeah, like I can't remember anything except I'll be here until the end. And that's like the only lyric in there. It's not fear. It's Till the End is a separate song, I think, when Oscar is falling down. So, like, I don't know exactly what's going on with this. I don't know if it's RWBY talking about what survives after all the dust is gone, as in Vacuo, like the survivors in Vacuo. Were you there till the end? Is she wondering about Penny, like in terms of like Penny staying up there because Penny never fell? You know what? I will say that. I correct myself. I think that it's all about Penny. I was wondering if it was about other things, maybe?
Nice, sweet.
Like, what survives after the dust is gone?
When Ruby's going up and talking to her mom about her first big breakup.
Like, were you there till the end, as in to the end of the fight? She was there.
Penny did
because
break
Penny
up, you know,
Penny died.
the first time.
And in terms of the dust, like, Cinder invokes a very specific, like, dust imagery as Cinderella, and then also turning Pyrrha literally to ash. So I think that this is all about Penny. I think were you at least called a friend is weird though, and kind of a, I don't know, questionable.
Which is like, were you a
questionable.
I would be like, were you a good person? Did people care about you?
But they knew that, so I think that that's why maybe it is about Summer.
Well, maybe it's just like it's about, well, it's like what like survives when you're gone. It was like, did you stay for people? Were people
right?
Did
And
people
that's
care
part of
about
fear.
you?
Like, who will you be there in the darkness when no one is watching? Like, that's the whole thing of fear, is like, who will you be? But like, the confusing part is I don't know what she's referring to. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Is she talking about herself? Is she talking about her mom, or is she talking about?
I feel like this still feels like Summer talking to RWBY in my head. It's like her giving her a pep talk. So like she's saying that like what's important isn't that like you win, it's that you kept trying. So you think, because I thought this was Summer and then RWBY was responding. No, I think this is still like, this feels like the Summer pep talk.
Okay, so you still think that Summer is talking. Okay, that's interesting, because I saw this as a call and like a response.
No. Feels like a continued monologue for me.
Yeah, because I wonder if she's accusing Summer, because Summer, like, she saw that thing of Summer going off with Raven, and, like, what the fuck were they doing? So I wonder if this is Ruby being accusatory, but I also agree with you that basically what she's saying is, like, I never raised you to be a perfect hero. I raised you to be a good person, and that's what called a friend means. And then to never give up. Like, that's how I raised you. You know what I mean? Not to be perfect. And so maybe that's Summer trying to reiterate that Ruby is perfect as she is. See, this is what I'm confused about, though, because I feel like that this is Ruby responding, asking Summer if she meant to make her half her whole. And so I don't know when the switch happens, if it's here or if it's earlier.
I feel like maybe here.
Yeah. Because, like...
Because this feels more...
You need to make me half her whole. Because the other side could also be the other side of Ruby as well.
Like you lost one of your... You know, she lost her mother at a very young age.
Oh, but I mean, like, Ruby, like, just talking to herself as in, like, who she wants to be. But yeah, I think that she is talking to Summer in terms of, like... You made me, but I'm empty. Like, will I ever be whole without you?
I know. It's a conversation between the two of them, as I imagine it.
Yeah. But I was just wondering, is she...
So, like how it says, complete.
If she was talking to, like, the blacksmith, like, when she's choosing herself or not. But I do think that she is talking about, like, did you mean to make me in a very, like, you're my mom. Like, you know what I mean? And will I ever become all of me? But it works talking to the blacksmith about it too, so I guess it's fine either way. But yeah, I feel like she's asking. So yeah, I agree. I think the first two things were Summer talking to Ruby, and now Ruby is responding. I think that makes sense. This is where the lyrics get really good, though. So I can give Called a Friend a pass.
I think that lyric's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine now that we've talked about it, but it was a little like, I don't know. So, do you think this is Ruby?
This feels like Ruby now. Because it's that, like, self-doubt, but it's also the I will prevail.
Yeah. And she's the one who has to decide if she wants to be herself. And that's Summer's memory, right? It's interesting, because I would have never thought Ruby was prideful.
Yeah, I don't
like
quite know what it means in the context of foolish pride.
Well, I mean, I would say that it's like...
Not asking help, wanting to do all this by yourself.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. That's why I was like, is that Summer saying that her foolish pride got her killed because she was like, Salem, we can't kill you, but we'll beat you, right? Like, Salem's like, your mom said those words to me. Like, that's a little bit of maybe Summer having been arrogant.
Your mother.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, But I think it is about Ruby, like, acknowledging that, like, not asking for help and, like, all that stuff. Like, trying to do it all alone. Yeah, I feel like that's still... See, but I feel like there's a duality there. Because I see that as... What is left, I know it's you and I. That could be Summer and Ruby, but I also think it's Ruby and Ruby in a sort of...
Yeah, well, she'd end up
what's
talking
inside
to
is
herself.
Neo in trivia kind of way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that Ruby's talking to her other self now. Like, it's you and me. It's the old me
talking
and the new me.
Yeah.
That's who I see left over. Especially with the lyric that comes after that. I'll be who you were and I'll be even more. Like... I think the first instinct is, I'll be who you were, and I'll be more than you.
But also, her talking about her former self.
It's, I'll be who you were, Ruby, and I'll be even more. And so I like that other self duality. It's kind of funny, because, like, they didn't really bring this up in the show at all, but isn't it funny how, like, Ruby has these other self conversations, and then Neo... who was the antagonist for this volume, is also, like, kind of the...
One of the antagonists.
Well, yeah, like, but she's, like, the perfect representation of that duality, too.
Yes,
and so I think that's kind of funny, that, like, Ruby has two sides to herself. And that's kind of Neo's whole situation, so I think that's funny. There's not really anything beyond it being funny, because we do see the girls talk to their other selves when they're in that void. So yeah, I would say that it is literal, actually. I changed my mind. So I think this is her talking about coming back, right? See? Prevail and Fairy Tale? That's so such a good lyric. And it makes me really, irrationally happy, I would say. Even, like, Takes and Made is kind of nice because you have, I don't know how to explain this. You have the letters in between, like, you know what I mean? You have the vowels are the same. It's the consonants that are different. I just like that one. And then Reclaim and Reflection, that's like nice alliteration, even though it doesn't happen after each other. And Promise and Prevails is also nice alliteration. Like, you can kind of tell that it almost happens in the same, like, it's not exactly the same beat, but it almost happens in the same spot. So yeah, that just makes me little nerdy thing to mention, I guess, right? I can't see anything else. But yeah, Reflection and Reclaim, that's really good. Promise and Prevails, that's really good. And yeah, Inspire the Fairy Tale, Pop Off, it's great. It sounds like someone else is singing
it's
in
like, well, that's just a little bit of distortion on her voice.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I
was
like
is there a male
Yeah,
it
does sound like a male, but it's just the distortion of the voice.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think anyone else is credited.
Yeah, no. I do love the I'm what inspired the fairy tales line.
Is that Casey?
I don't know, but it sounds like someone's like way in your ear whispering, and it is.
Well, it kind of sounds like a child. Like that Ruby said this to herself almost as a kid, and now it's coming back.
But that could just be, you know.
Oh, yeah. But it sounds childlike. I don't know. Like, to me, it does. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like a child whispering in the
like
bedtime
kids
story.
Would whisper,
you know? But yeah, I don't know. I just think that that's interesting.
And then they do the rock. And I feel like the rock out, like, guitar solos really
yeah, like an ode to Jeff.
Sorry, I meant to say it was very, oh God, what's the word? It's like earned.
Oh, earned.
It's very earned. They don't just go right up the gate.
How Jeff used to just throw them in there. You're saying that like...
Well, I'm not saying that he just threw them in there
I'll say it.
Okay, well, it's just like, no, you build up to it, and you have that kind of punchy moment before that. You really, like, you don't just get it right away. You have to wait for that big cathartic explosion.
I'm just joking. I'm not trying to Jeff slander, but...
And these, like, and how the music changes, it's just really solid.
Okay, I may be wrong, but I feel like Way...
Hasn't stopped you before.
I feel like Way is the same note in... like the edge, so that's kind of interesting. I don't think it's the same as the one that I caught earlier of Rage and Once. I don't think it's that the same, but I don't know, like I feel like that these are all connected somehow. I know there's only so many notes, so it's going to happen, but like it sounds like the progression sounds similar to something that happens in the edge. Yeah, I don't know which lyric it would be, but yeah, I don't know. That may be something to investigate if you're better. But I do like the contrast with the edge though, because Ruby's getting out, but Neo is going in, right? And so I think I really like the contrast.
I feel like you could really dig into some of the the instrumentals in the background there, because it felt like near the very end there were strings and stuff in the background there.
Why are the strings always in the instrumental, but they're never under the lyrics? I mean, sometimes
if you listen very carefully, you can hear a nice little kind, quiet ho-he.
Oh my God! But yeah, I think that this is definitely. It lived up to the hype. I wouldn't say it's my favorite song. I think that Checkmate and Chatterbox are still winning. I think that we peaked. We may not get any higher than that.
I think this and the last song were both very... Yeah,
as a Red Like Roses Part 3, though, it lived up to the hype. For sure.
I think this is a very good song.
Yeah, they're all good.
I also feel like... Well, Chatterbox, I'm surprised you like because of it's very heavy, but the
electro content
but the electro swing, that makes sense that you would really like that because it's just your genre.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can rank them all because we're done.
Wait, no more?
I mean, there's only Wings left, which
we'll watch Wings.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wings, but like,
that can be a separate video if we rank them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.